Welcome to November 1st of 2019, Friday. Yes, it's my weekend, thank you. Hopefully everybody had a great, spooky-rific Halloween yesterday, last night, still today, whatever. I mean, fuck it, make it all weekend long. Who gives a shit? Not this guy. So I decided, to just because October and Halloween is over doesn't mean, I should start getting lazy on the horror movie collection videos. And I have decided to finish off the box in the bedroom. So we've got quite a pile here today. But because I was kind of picking and choosing, they were all mixed in there with like some, there might be some controversial picks in here. I don't know. But yeah, they were kind of mixed in there with like some TV shows and some movies or some comedies and blah 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 blah, all this other stuff. So yeah, I can tell you I don't remember a lot of them. Like Pray for Morning, I don't remember this one. Jessica Stroup, that name sounds familiar. There are worse things to be than dead. Maybe this does sound familiar. Maybe it doesn't. Sometimes it's hard to say. The plan was to spend one night in the abandoned Royal Crescent Hotel. Crescent Moon Hotel? In Eureka Springs, Arkansas? No, it's not about that at all. Where in 1985, 5 students were murdered, their killer never found. What was supposed to be just a night of fun hunting for the victims' blood-stained rooms suddenly changes when they find a severed hand and awaken evil presence within the hotel. Now they are running for their lives, trying to solve a mystery 100 years old, and morning is still very far away. So, you need to pray for morning. Gosh, the whole hotel thing kind of sounds familiar, but I can't tell you a damn thing about it, so we're used to that by now, ain't we? Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to whip this one out. Shaun of the Dead. I do own this. I did enjoy this. Some people might consider this more of a comedy than a horror/thriller. And it is comedy, I mean, look at the people involved in it. But it is kind of, I guess there is some kind of horror elements to it. So I thought, I'm like, well, so if I ever do, and I'm kind of planning on continuing on with this after I'm done with my horror movies, assuming I ever am. Like moving on to my sci-fi movies or action adventure movies or comedy movies, for instance, and I will whip this one out then as well, since it's I think I would personally call it more of a comedy film, but I know there's horror elements to it, so I wanted to include it in this list just because. And because I included that one, I also included Night of the Living Dorks. I haven't seen this movie, but it's supposed to be one of those more horror comedy, probably kind of like Shaun of the Dead, probably more on the side of comedy for me. Philip and his best friends, Conrad and Wiener, spelled with 2 E's, because he's classy like that. I want to say this is a foreign film? Is this a foreign film? Because I want to say it's like subtitled or something. Because I think I did look up the trailer for this one. Are the 3 biggest losers in Frederick Knights? Oh, there we go. Knightsche. Hi. Oh Lord, I just murdered that word, and I apologize. Where's my finger? I don't know. Knights. Somebody's gonna have to say that one for me, because I don't know. Knightsche? Frederick Knightsche. Hi. But when an inept voodoo ceremony by the local goth clique leads to a fatal car accident, this trio of uber dorks, with 2 dots above the U, returns as indestructible zombies with an insatiable appetite for human flesh, wild parties, and Gym Class Revenge. So, see, that's what I'm saying. This one seems like it would be part teenage fantasy, part adolescent nightmare. It seems like it would be more on the side of comedy for me, kind of like Shaun of the Dead. But since I included Shaun of the Dead, I included this one as well. So, once again, I'll probably, if I do the comedy, once I get to the comedy movies, I'll probably whip this one out again. And here, the long-awaited one that I have been talking about for, I believe, ever, and it has a shiny slipcover, because it's Mirrors, and it's Jack Bauer. I want to say this is the one where he's like a security guard or something. I want to say there was a horror movie where he was a security guard, and the Mirrors, I believe, is what this is. Stare into the face of terror. Look deeper into the world of Mirrors with this thrill-packed DVD featuring an unrated cut of the film, plus over an hour of blah blah blah, nobody gives a shit. Blah, blah, blah. Attempting to pick up the shattered pieces of his life. Shattered because it's a mirror. A disgraced former cop, Kiefer Sutherland, takes a routine job guarding the charred ruins of a once famous department store. But the terrifying images he sees in the store's ornate mirrors will send him on a pulse-pounding mission to unravel the secrets of the building's past before they destroy his entire life. So yes, this is the one that I was thinking of since like day one. The one about him being a frickin' security guard. And did they make another one? Do I have it? I don't know. I want to say they made a Mirrors too. Maybe. It didn't star Kiefer Sutherland, I'm pretty sure. But I want to say they made like a Stir of Echoes too, but I never saw that one. But I really enjoyed Stir of Echoes as well. And I seem to remember really enjoying this one. So I'm going to go ahead and say, with at least somewhat certainty, that Mirrors is worth a watch for you. So my next movie is Seed, which I'm pretty sure is a horror movie. I feel like it is, just from the cover of it. Among the most sinister, faceless killers of recent vintage. It includes PC video games, so this one includes the PC video game, which apparently is it based off a PC video game? A surprisingly accomplished and powerful movie, the violence is unremittingly brutal. Seed recounts the supernatural story of a ruthless serial killer who survives electrocution on death row. Prison guards fail to exorcise the evil in this murderer and inadvertently unleash a malevolent monster. The resulting reign of violence with its extreme gore and torture sets a new standard for the horror genre. Dare to watch kills that are downright jaw-dropping. And unfortunately, I never have, because this one... Oh, wait a minute. Lies? Oh. Well, at least he admits it. From the notorious director Uwe Boll. So, now maybe I understand. Is he fucking... He's with Bin Laden. Is that Uwe Boll? Is that photoshopped? Did he actually meet Bin Laden? I mean, I would believe that he was in Lederhosen. That's what that is, right? Lederhosen? But I don't know. I don't know. So at least he admits that he has a problem, and it's him. Because I know he has a very notorious, reputation within the horror / any film. Well, I guess it's more... Is it action? Because I know he did, like... that one based off the video game that I can't think of right now. Didn't he do Blood Rain? He did Blood Rain, I feel like, in the zombie movie where they're on an island or something that I can't think of right now. It's one of the ones that I had a bad movie weekend, and I got three of the supposed worst movies in from Netflix that weekend. I still do the DVD thing. It was only DVDs back then. I swear, kiddies. I swear. It was a thing. Netflix used to send out DVDs, and they still do if you pay extra money. Or Blu-rays. That's fine. God damn it. What is the name of that movie? But I got that movie in with the zombies on the island. Geely and Glitter. Glitter is the Mariah Carey movie where basically she kisses her own ass for an hour and a half. Yeah, it's fun. So I just had this horror movie. I just had this horrible, supposedly bad movie weekend. Or, well, I watched them all. I tried to watch them all in one night, and I swear to God, I started with Geely, and it almost broke me. I had to take a break. House of the Dead? Is it House of the Dead that's that movie that he did? Maybe? I don't know. Criticized. Listed here, feature and bonus material. Criticized how a filmmaker gets back at his critics. Making a decent movie? Did you try that? I couldn't tell you because I feel like I didn't see this. I didn't see Seed. Now here's a movie that I'm gonna say pissed a lot of people off. I feel like it ventured from the book, but Stephen King himself, I believe, is quoted as saying Stephen King's The Mist, and look at the shiny slipcover. Oh my god, it's so great. He likes the change that they made, and he wishes he did it himself when he wrote the story. But this was pretty good. It's about this mist surrounds this town, or at least this not superstore. That's a completely different thing. A supermarket. I just always get dazzled by the. See, that's why I buy these fucking things. Is because I'm sitting here looking at it in my viewfinder thing, and I'm just like, ooh, so pretty, all the colors. But anyway, these people get trapped in the supermarket, and there's this thing in the mist that's like, I don't think you ever really see it. It's kind of one of those things where it just stays in the mist the whole time. So they're trying to survive it, and, figure out blah, 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 yada, 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 how to survive. This apparently includes a limited edition collectible booklet. So let's see what that looks like. Oh, shit. These old DVDs with these fucking tabs. I swear to God, I go to open this shit, and then I can't fucking open this shit. It pisses me off. There you go. That's kind of cool. This little booklet thingy that it has with it. And blah, blah, blah. A lot of blah, blah, blah. 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 And then scene selection, which isn't necessarily blah, 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 but fairly close. Fairly close. But yeah, this was don't look at it. Hold on. Let me put up the pretty colors again in case any of you are super fucking high right now. Whee! It's the weekend. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. I don't even care if it's the week. Who gives a shit? Pay your bills. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. Just pay your fucking bills. But yeah, this was thrilling, suspenseful, and a lot of interesting characters that you come to care for, and then grieve when they die unceremoniously or ceremoniously. I don't really recall. But at least I can tell you something about it. This movie was one that I was very interested in, and The Signal. It has a fancy cover to it. I feel like I can't really discuss this movie without giving it's just, I don't know that there's a way to discuss this movie without giving away spoilers. Exactly. So you might want to mute me or fast forward to the next when you see the next movie pop up, because I don't really know. Well, it's New Year's Eve in the city of Terminus, and chaos is this year's resolution. All forms of communication have been jammed by a mysterious transmission that preys on fear and desire, driving everyone in the city to murder and madness. Now, okay, cool. The trailers, the commercials, everything made it look cool. The problem is, I feel like it was... I didn't expect it to be... I seem to remember that it was somewhat... what do you call it? Like Trick or Treat, or like Creep Show or something. It was like an anthology kind of movie where... because these characters, I feel like, we left them behind for a while, and then I think we picked them back up later, if I remember correctly. But we like go into this whole other thing, and I think there's maybe different directors that direct the different stories that are involved in it. And then there's one that, like, it builds up a lot of some suspense or whatever, and then it kind of like it starts going a little bit like into more comedy and a little bit more cheesy or something, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure this is the movie that I was ended up being somewhat disappointed in, because the trailers made it look so good and made it look so like suspenseful and intense and blah 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 blah. And there are moments of that, but then it's like you get pulled into these other stories, and then it just kind of it just kind of like ruined the whole mood for me, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure that's this movie. It has cult classic written all over it. This is one viciously fun flick. So yeah, a bloody blast from start to finish, refreshingly original is what it says here on this thing. But yeah, I feel like, yeah, it kind of got lost, like it started and then it got lost, and then it maybe came back, but I kind of feel like it was a little bit all over the place maybe, and then like I said, we didn't follow the same characters the whole time, and I don't know, it just kind of, for me, it kind of got to be a little bit, yeah, it just didn't have the same, when I was expecting it to be more of a, suspenseful, intense kind of movie, and then like there were moments of that, and then it lost it, and maybe it kind of got it back, and I don't know, it just kind of, I don't know, it was a little bit of a mess for me, if I remember correctly. Okay, like you can come back now, so we're good. My next movie, and I don't know if I watched this, or if I bought it intending to watch it. Storm of the Century. It's a Stephen King thingy. The best-selling novelist of all time comes the terrifying tale of a town besieged by evil. The inhabitants of a picturesque, sleepy little town on a small island off the coast of Maine find themselves completely cut off from the rest of the world when they are hit by the worst storm of the century. As snow steadily buries everything familiar, terror arrives in the form of an evil stranger. As streets disappear and the eerie darkness envelops the town, a series of bizarre murders creates a nightmare of fear. With no help coming from the outside world and no end to the storm in sight, the townspeople are forced to take drastic action before it's too late. I feel like this is a perfect match for our next movie. I will just, little foreshadowing there. It has many chapters and 2 different sides to the disc. Special commentary by Stephen King. So, I can't say for sure. I want to say maybe this was like a TV, a miniseries, and it looked like it would be something that would be interesting, so I thought, hey, I'll buy that and watch it, and then bought it. I did half the work. I bought it, but haven't watched it. Okay, now after that, the description of that, we move into blah da 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 30 Days of Night, which was a very good movie. And of course it's got the blood and the guts and the kind of splatters and the blah 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 blah. Josh Hartnett, Melissa George. I didn't mind her role on Alias. Her role kind of upset a lot of people. Spoilers, I guess, if you've never seen Alias. But basically they live in Alaska, where there's that, thing where it's 30 days of night, and then we got some smart vampires up in this bitch that they're like, hey, it's daytime for it's nighttime for, 30 days straight. We can rule over the land. So vampires invade just as, they're going dark, basically. And, so they have to, once again, try to survive. Our group of characters have to try to survive the incoming apocalypse sort of thing, How are they going to get through it? Because if there's no daytime, you don't get any rest. Like, these are vampires. They don't sleep, They only hide during the day. So, and if it's 30 days of night, that's 30 days straight chasing you that they can do, So this was, and I did see this in the theater, so that's why it's not open, but I have seen it, and I know enough to tell you that this is definitely one of those that's worth a watch if you haven't seen it. Okay. Now we have, we're going back to something I can't tell you, because it's Furnace Unrated. The furnace is kind of raised up, so that's kind of neat. Maybe I did see this one. Oh, shoot, excuse me. Welcome to the ultimate death sentence. While investigating gruesome deaths inside a maximum security prison, Detective Michael Paré, uncovers a nightmare more threatening than the hardened criminals serving time. Behind the walls lies a supernatural force hell-bent on revenge, and as the body count rises, so does the terror. Also starring Ja Rule, Tom Sizemore, and Danny Trejo. So it even tells you there's an Easter egg on there. That's fucking cheating. Look at that shit. It tells you on the back of the fucking thing there's a goddamn Easter egg in it. Cheating! Cheating! So yeah, I can't really tell you anything about this. It's open. I probably watched it. But we know how that shit goes. There's a very creepy person on the DVD itself looking out at you as you put it in the thing. Creepy. One hell of a ride. Okay, I'll take your word for it. People could take my word for it if I remembered anything, for fuck's sake. Jamie King, They Wait. Bad things happen to those who wait. Scary as hell, according to the Toronto International Film Festival. After living in Shanghai for 3 years, Sarah, her husband Jason, and their young son Sammy returned to North America for a family funeral. But something strange is going on. Sammy starts seeing ghosts and then falls gravely ill. Traditional Western medicine offers no hope. Sarah turns to a mysterious pharmacist who warns that her son is being held in a death grip by a living corpse. Sarah must find out what the spirits want if she is to save her child. Time is of the essence. Once the sun rises the next day, the last day of Ghost Month, Sammy will be lost forever. The spirits have spoken. I remember the setup. I remember the thing about Ghost Month. And that thing. So I know I did watch this one. And I feel like it was okay, I guess. But there again, it doesn't stand out to me as something. It's not like 30 Days of Night or The Mist or any of that kind of stuff, that I can barely tell you. Or like the first Pulse movie, whatever. So I feel like this, I want to say this is worth a watch, but maybe, take that with a grain of salt, maybe, because I can't really tell you. Okay, the last couple of things in the box were more of my Ghost House Underground movies. And this one is Dance of the Dead. This one was fun. This one, it had zombies, and it was one of those that towed the line a little bit better between being like suspenseful and being thrilling and being, and being funny at the same time. Is this Greg Bishop? Is this Greg Bishop? Fuck yeah, it's Greg Bishop. Look, remember the other day, what was it? The Other Side. This is a goddamn Greg Bishop movie. That's why it's so good. Greg Bishop. Come on, Greg Bishop. Good. I need to look up and see if he's made any more movies, because this one was really good, and The Other Side was pretty good too. And he did that with like little to no budget whatsoever. So I need to look up and see if Greg Bishop has made more movies, because there's his name right there on the front of the thing. Look up Greg Bishop. The only 2 movies I can think of that I know of by him were really good. Like good characters and, stuff that, just fun. It can be fun, it can be entertaining, it can be scary. Like he plays so many roles all at the same time, or, plays it from so many sides, and at least in the 2 films that I know of, I don't remember The Other Side being that funny. It might have had funny moments to it, or whatever. But yeah, I remember it being, it could be scary or exciting, thrilling, suspenseful, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And this definitely had a lot of, it had just everything, I guess, that you might want from a film, from what I recall. So, but yeah, high schoolers, zombies, blah, 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 blah. She's got a motherfucking, sword right there. katana. Probably a machete, but that's okay. I'll say whatever the fuck I want to say. She's got an axe and he's got a bat. So they're all ready to take on these motherfucking zombies up in this motherfucking plane. There's no plane. There's a prom, just not a plane. But yes, do yourself a favor and look up Greg Bishop's movies, because I don't know. I don't know if he's done any other movies, but now I need to find out. Now that I remember, I came across him, like, that's why I remember this movie so much. Because after The Other Side, I wanted to watch more of his stuff, and luckily he was included in this Ghost House Underground, so I was able to see one of them. Also, we have Dark Floors. Sarah is a deceased little girl. Diseased. There's some kind of fine line in between those two words. Whose father is worried about her health. Concerned for her after a near-fatal accident with a hospital scanning device, the father decides to immediately remove his daughter from the institution. With his daughter and her freaky monster drawings in hand, every fucking kid draws a goddamn monster in a fucking movie. Like, you don't even need to put that on the back of the box for us to just know it's going to be in there, okay? Shit. He makes way for the nearest elevator, but it breaks down, trapping them with others, yet the incident is only the beginning of a descent into a nightmare. As the elevator doors open, the hospital appears mysteriously deserted. When mutilated bodies are found, creatures from a dark world start a frightening attack. It soon becomes clear that the survival of the group may rest solely on the little girl. So, this was a movie. I probably watched it. Probably. Will assume I did. But it's not that I can tell you that much about it. So I'm going to do this one first, because I kind of remember that one. No Man's Land. The Rise of Reeker, a Dave Payne movie. Caught in Death Valley, literally. The Death Valley Drifter, an anomaly with a legend of killing dozens of people, guilty and innocent alike, is back to hunt his prey. Even though the Drifter was executed decades earlier, this strange soul collector has risen again. He will challenge the sheriff who rid the world of him before, only this time the sheriff will leave his legacy in the hands of his estranged son to save the desolate community. No Man's Land, The Rise of Reeker. This was a sequel movie, wasn't it? Is set in a supernatural world where the characters are in some sort of walking coma, not quite alive and not quite dead, somewhere unidentifiably in between. Hold on to your seats for this suspenseful ride, because the only given in this world is that everyone has to die, and just when you think you figured it out, No Man's Land will undoubtedly shock you with a twist of a lifetime. Well, you already said fucking everything on the back about being in a dream state world or something. Yeah, once I saw the Rise of Reeker, I feel like this was included in the Ghost House Underground because it is a sequel to something. And I don't necessarily know that I saw the original movie, but I did see this one, Ghost House Underground. Well, there's all the movies, and if you've seen the other video, you know I reviewed that one, and then some of the ones from today, and one that's getting ready to come up. Oh, Last House on the Left. I feel like I did that one too. So which one am I missing? Room 205. I didn't get Room 205, and Trackman. Those are the two from this list anyway that I didn't get. But yeah, I want to say that this Rise of the Reeker thing. It was included in this set because it was a sequel to another movie that apparently did fairly well for them to make a sequel of it, I feel like. After reading some of that description, but there again, I can't necessarily tell you anything about it. But the last movie in the Ghost House Underground is The Substitute. A small-town 6th grade class gets a new substitute teacher who wants to train them for a mysterious international competition in Paris. But something isn't right. How is she able to read their minds? Why is she so mean? And how does she so cleverly manipulate all of their parents into believing how great she is when it's obvious to the whole class that she's a nightmare come true? As the story unfolds, we find that there's a reason she seems to be from another planet. Oh my god. I at the time it was an okay movie. I was trying to think of it's from a different country. I remember that because I can't remember if it was dubbed or if it was subtitled or what exactly it was. But I remember it being from a different country. And I thought at the time, like, not a whole lot of movies were putting children in danger, and I kind of thought that was kind of something unique to, because usually, at least with, like American movies, for the slasher movies, it has to be teenagers, like there can be a kid in the cast, I guess, but as long as the adults are the ones that are all dying, or the teenagers, that are actually, almost 30 years old or whatever. As long as it's teenagers dying, it's fine. But people get squeamish over here, I guess, when you put children in danger. So that's why I thought this was kind of, for it to be set up to be something where she's like, terrorizing a sixth grade class. I don't necessarily remember it being very scary or very terrifying. So I mean, maybe it was kid gloves kind of thing, even for a movie from whatever country this is from. But maybe it's kind of like their Hocus Pocus or something. Like Hocus Pocus was a horror movie, and I mean the kids were in danger that entire time, I guess, supposedly. But it's still kind of Disney-fied. Like the danger is somewhat Disney-fied. So I don't know that I can necessarily, from what I recall of this, I guess it was kind of an interesting. It was kind of an interesting story. I don't necessarily know that it was captivating or necessarily all that suspenseful, because it's kind of like, oh, she's evil, but the parents don't believe it, and the kids are trying to get them to believe it. And I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe that was kind of like stretched out a bit to where it's kind of like, I can't remember, if children actually die in this or not. But I guess it is somewhat possible. But there's probably been movies now since then that, like, I feel like it's a rarity in horror movies, necessarily, where, like, children are the ones that are, in danger. I mean, I guess we just had It, but then they did the adult version. I haven't seen It 2, unfortunately. So, I mean, there's some, I suppose. But because even the original, the mini-series, I seem to remember they focused more on the kids as adults than they did, their time as children. Whereas the original, the first, It remake or It reboot or whatever you want to call it, like it focused, solely on the children being in danger. So I mean, I guess we get that every once in a while, but I still feel like it's, quite a bit in between, movies where that actually happens. And of course, I was trying to get all of these anyway. So, I watched it. It was all right, kind of bland, I think. But there's a story and a resolution and a blah 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 blah. So I mean, watch it if you want to. And now I know I have 2 more of these Ghost House Underground movies I gotta try to find. But that is today's movies. That was quite a few. I tried not to talk for too long on most of them, but I think I did anyway. So this could be a 40-minute video. I don't know. Whoops, sorry. Since I didn't really have much to say about them, since I didn't really remember them. But I'm still going to continue to do my horror movies. The ones in the bedroom are done now. So the only ones I have left are these boxes over here and my VHS tapes. A lot of the VHS tapes, though, I think are, well, not all of them, I guess, are like repeats. I could do a quick video probably on the VHS movies in that drawer over there. Because they're probably going to be a lot of the same ones. It's just the VHS version that I upgraded to the DVD or the Blu-ray, and never got rid of the VHS for some reason, one reason or another. Sometimes I keep the VHS because sometimes, occasionally, they have like a cool cover. I have a problem. I'm not going to do anything about it, but at least I'll admit it. But anyway, so I don't know if I'll be doing it every day, or I don't know. If I start getting too lazy with it, it's going to be one of those things where I just completely stop because I get too lazy and kind of like, I'll do it tomorrow. Because tomorrow, as we know, turns into never. So I should probably keep doing these on a daily basis. Maybe I'll be done with it because in a month, it's time for Advent Event. So I'll be doing an Advent calendar video every day as it is. So, but anyway, we'll see what happens in the next month. And I will see you for what I see you.